What's up, family? Get this video a big thumbs up if you get some value from this video. So we just basically going to expose the hypocrites. As you guys know, I like to say hypocrites, but we're really talking about the Democrats. And these kinds of stories make it all worth it. You know what I'm saying? With the radical leftists, basically they absolutely got owned at their own game. Okay, and this is actually what it is because it's all just a game to them, a cynical, calculated power grab behind closed doors. But here's the kicker. Sometimes they play themselves. And when you play the game too long and you think that you're undefeated, you become your own demise because you're full of yourself. You're basically foolish, you know what I'm saying? So that's when the real fun begins, right? So what's the latest? Well, it looks like the Biden administration's sneaky backroom schemes to undermine Donald Trump's border wall have backfired spectacularly. And if you remember, we talked about this just a couple weeks ago. Or I talked about this multiple times, I would like to say, not even a couple weeks, just multiple times. The Democrats quietly just trying to sell off unused border wall, as we all know, when it comes to me saying weeks and weeks and weeks of how the Democrats don't care about the public safety of the American people. But they're trying to sell off the unused border wall materials, essentially sabotaging Trump's efforts. But here's the thing. They just got absolutely outplayed, not once, but twice. The Trump team is reclaiming nearly all the materials Biden tried to pawn off for pennies on a dollar. Owned, literally. And you know who's spilling the tea? Tom Homan. He says the company that brought the materials, dirt cheap, just turned around and offered it back to Trump. And you can't make this stuff up. But anyway, I want you guys to check out the clip in which Tom Homan had to say.
And you know, it's disgusting that they're going to take that border wall, which like you just said, we pay top dollar for, and selling it for pennies on the dollar. Now we got to rebuy it. It's ridiculous. However, a little bit of good news. One of the companies actually reached out to me, willing to give us that border wall products back at what they paid for it, the pennies on the dollar, giving us back for the same price. So I think Ken Paxton, the AG in Texas, took immediate action. I know I've been working with Lindsey Graham, taking immediate action. So right now, I think we got them stopped. But it's insulting. They wait 4 years just before we take control to sell a main piece of our plan to secure that border.
Nasty piece of work. I'm glad it stopped.
And, you know, it's disgusting.
Well, there you have it, folks. And like he said, it took 4 years for them to basically sell off this border wall as they try to claim that it's rotten. But at the end of the day, how is the border wall basically corroding or rotten or whatever the case may be in which the Democrats is trying to paint it to be? Then why would you sell something unuseful, right? But it's the same thing we ask, all of us ask as American, the American people and as American citizens. What have you done in the last 4 years, right? So look, this just highlights the mood of the nation. People want secure borders. It's not just a Republican talking point, right? It's a priority for millions of Americans, like I've been saying weeks and weeks and weeks. And the Democrats, consumed by their hatred for Trump, thought they couldn't get away with this. But nope, the people, and in this case, a few patriotic private corporations stepped up and said, not on our watch. And they brought the materials, and now they're either returning them to the Trump team or leaving them right there where they were. And it's a beautiful patriotic standing against spiteful partisanship, right? So this reminds me of the clip in regards of the Texas Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, promising to buy all the materials himself. And I just find it hilarious because at the end of the day, it's amazing how these individuals are banding together for the best good of the American people. As we all know, the Democrats like to say that they want to have the best interests of the American people, but we know it's a lie. Check this out.
Joining me now, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Texas has its act together on the front lines of this battle with the illegals. But do you think it's time, Dan, for people like these sanctuary mayors to themselves pay a price if, in fact, they try to thwart the federal government's sole and supreme responsibility to enforce our border laws?
Absolutely, Laura. When I became lieutenant governor back in 2015, one of the first bills we pushed was no sanctuary cities in Texas, and we don't have any sanctuary cities in Texas. I'm absolutely disgusted by every act of this administration and every act of every Democrat in every blue state and blue city. They are undermining the will of the people. They are putting their people into harm's way. And Tom Homan, he's the new sheriff in town. They better pay attention. And Pam Bondi, she'll prosecute him. They'll put him in jail. It's a felony if you conceal, as Tom Homan said, or hide an illegal alien. Remember, Laura, in this group of illegal aliens are likely terrorists. We know we've arrested many across the border in the last few years, but we don't know who they are, or they're murderers, or they're sex offenders, or they're rapists. This is outrageous. And let me tell you what, every blue state governor and mayor who does this, you better buck up, Buttercup. I don't care if you're male or female. We mean business in Texas, and Tom Homan means business, and President Trump means business. And I don't know if you heard the latest today, Laura, but Joe Biden is now hauling off the border wall that's been lying down for years, and he wants to auction it off starting at $5 a piece. Message to the White House right now. I will bid on all of that wall, and we will buy it in Texas, and we will give it to Donald Trump. So I'm going to find out first thing in the morning where are we going to take the bid. I've got $1 billion in my pocket to do it. I write the budget with Senator Joan Huffman. We have the money. We're going to have about $6 billion in our budget for border security.
Dan, don't drive up the cost. Don't drive up the cost. The first bid is only $5 a piece of the wall. And
I will go in and buy it all.
Yeah, but what does that tell you? Yeah, well, what does this tell you about the Biden people?
It tells you
they're essentially green lighting. They want more people coming in. Yeah,
they're despicable in what they're doing to the American people, and the American people obviously aren't going to tolerate it. That's why they were thrown out. But the idea, we've been trying to buy this wall from them for 4 years, and they wouldn't sell it to us. And you know what? I'm going to check in with our Department of Public Safety. Maybe we need to start pulling over these trucks to be sure they don't have too much weight on those trucks. Maybe these trucks need to be slowed down. We need to do everything we can in Texas to stop them. The taxpayers paid for this, and they want to stop President Trump in 38 or 39 days from rebuilding the wall. I want to the legacy of Joe Biden. He lets off his son. He's letting off all these criminals. He's doing everything he can with these blue state governors and mayors to destroy this country. They are traitors to this country, leaving terrorists, leaving murderers, leaving rapists in this country. And now he wants to sabotage this president before he takes off. It is disgraceful and disgusting. He will go down as the worst, most despicable president in the history of this country because no one has done more to damage this country and hurt American citizens.
Y'all done heard it, man. Shout out to Dan. We got to give him a round of applause. We got to do it, man. We got to do it. Shout out to Governor Dan Patrick. Texas has been standing on business fighting against this whole Biden administration when it comes to securing the border and not backing down, man. So there you have it, man. These guys just don't talk the talk. They walk the walk. With billions in Texas budget for border security, they were ready to take action, and it worked flawlessly. Now, the Democrats are left scrambling and scraping, looking foolish, and honestly, it's just hilarious. But it get even better. A federal judge stepped in, blocking the Biden administration from selling off any more materials. And here's the kicker. Trump himself commented on this joint from Truth Social, right? And he called it a crucial win. But before we get to that, I just want you guys to remember Trump asked Joe Biden respectfully and nicely, because they like to paint Trump as a horrible bad man, Trump, to not sell off the wall. But don't take my word for it. Check it out.
But now we ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. Very expensive. And now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago. And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions
due
of
to
dollars,
inflation.
because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build. But then after it was built, I said, we can do some more, because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar. And that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition.
Exactly.
That has to do with
politics.
People really trying to stop our nation. And all it means really is that we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more, not even talking about the time. The time would be pretty long, but we'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars more on building the same wall that we already have.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's dirty politics. And these public officials that we elected, and in this case, the Biden administration, doesn't it prove? And this is my question. They're so self-consumed with politics, and a typical politician, because we all know Trump is not part of the establishment. He's not a usual typical politician. He says what he means and means what he say. But a typical politician will know they'll say one thing and do another. So my question to you guys, family, is this consumed with dirty politics and playing political games rather than holding the best interests of the American people? Because I think so. But look, this is what Trump had to say on the crucial win of the whole thing. Breaking. And he said this on Truth Social, his platform. In a major crucial win for America and our national security, a federal judge in Texas, based on papers we filed just a few days ago, has prohibited the Biden administration from selling any materials designated for the border wall that has been wrecked by Biden and his cronies, and which I'm going to rebuild in order to protect our country from violent migrant crime, fentanyl smuggling, sex trafficking, terror attacks, and other heinous nation-ending disasters. The judge has also ordered an investigation into the illegal selling of the materials, which will expose just how corrupt and anti-American radical Democrats are. I am honored to be joined in this vital case by the great states of Texas and Missouri, and applaud Judge Drew Tipton for doing the right thing for our country. We have to protect our borders and save America, make America great again. Donald Trump, Truth Social. That was at 11:45 a.m. And that was on was yesterday, December 28th, 2024. So even after Christmas or during the Christmas break, they're still making wins, man. And at the end of the day, it's amazing, man. Man, shout out to Judge Drew Tipton, man. We got to give him a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? So there we have it. And also, just to add a little bit more context, this was Dan Patrick and what he had to say, and Donald Trump posted it on X, formerly known as Twitter. Even on Christmas Day, the president and Texas are working to secure the border. Here's a recent text I sent to President Trump. Mr. President, I believe Boris has shared with you that with your strong stance on stopping the sale of the wall panels in Texas, offering to buy all of the usable panels at auction on Wednesday, December 18th, which we think could be as many as 8,000 panels, you stopped the sale. The wall panels were pulled from the auction the day before the scheduled sale. The auctioneer told our team he would not do anything with them until after your inauguration. We are keeping an eye on it to be sure they don't. I totally support the Texas Attorney General's lawsuit to stop the auction of the unusable panels as added insurance. You are doing a credible job. You have electrified the country and the world and given people hope. Dan Patrick, your 313 electoral voter predictor. Put it like that. So let's recap. The material is already sold, snatched up by patriots, and sent right back to Trump. The rest blocked from being sold by the courts. This is a massive win for common sense and yet another embarrassing loss for the radical left. And on one side, you got Trump putting Americans first and prioritizing border security. On the other side, you got Biden willing to sacrifice national safety just to score cheap political points. And the contrast couldn't be clearer, folks. So here's the thing. The border wall was more than just a physical barrier. It sent a message to the cartels, to the coyotes, to anyone trying to exfoliate our border. The U.S. is serious about enforcing its laws. That was the message that you get, obviously, by the action that took by Donald Trump. And I find it very hypocritical because Joe Biden wants to play dirty politics for political points, but Barack Obama was the one that was even harder on securing the border, and Joe Biden was vice president under Barack Obama. So why Biden couldn't take notes? But that tells you that it's a personal vendetta against Trump, right? But at the end of the day, they chose partisan games over political safety, and now they're paying the price. So let me know down below in the comments how you guys feel about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some value from it. On that note, family, peace.